StraightAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, workonyourgameuniversity.com. Let's talk about gratuities. Because I know, I think just by law of averages, if 100 people watch this video, or any more than 100, there got to be at least some of you who work as, or have done some work as a freelance contractor, independent contractor doing delivery, like DoorDash, Uber Eats, anything where you can get a tip, right? Amazon Prime and that type of stuff, right? So I ordered some food from GoPuff, some candy, a couple days ago, and it was like $15, and I left a tip of $1. And the person, long story short, called me, and I answered, and she was like, hey, you should give a bigger tip because we worked really hard to deliver your food. This is just hung up on me. Didn't give me a chance to respond back, which is good for her because I would have cussed her the fuck out. But anyway, and put her in her place even more than that. But anyway, I'm interested in what you all think about this whole tipping gratuity culture, because I don't know where all of you live, but down here in Miami, most restaurants are now like automatically adding the tip to your order without even asking you. They automatically add 18%, anywhere from 18 to 20% to every order, right to the bill without even asking you. Like yesterday, I went to a restaurant. I was with my son, who's 2 years old, 2 years. I got a burger for him, a burger for me. No drinks, no appetizers. The bill came to $57. That's both burgers was like $20 a piece. Then tax, they added in the gratuity. Gratuity is probably either 18 to 20%. I didn't even look at it. And the bill ended up being $57. Now, Miami is a high-priced town to live in. Point being that they automatically add it in a lot of places where you go to eat. And then even places where it's like everyday stuff. Like GoPuff, for those of you who don't know what that is, that's an app where you can order, basically like it's like a convenience store. All in a convenience store on the app. So if you want some toilet paper, you want some paper towels, you want some candy, you want a bag of chips, you want a soda, you can get it off GoPuff and they'll bring it to your house, and then the delivery drivers come bring it to you. And the delivery drivers these days are getting mad hostile because they have this expectation that you should give them a tip or give them a certain amount just because they're doing the job. And I'm like, fuck that. No, we shouldn't. And this is why I'm asking y'all, what do you all think of this? Because I've never worked at a job like one of these, but these delivery drivers these days are, they have this sense of entitlement. And I see these videos on social media. It hasn't happened to me because I don't like ordering food for delivery. Not because of delivery drivers, that's added to the reason. It's solidified my reason. But the reason I never like ordering food for delivery is because it just takes too long. I'd rather just go pick up the food, and I know I've got it right when the moment is fresh. Like if I order delivery right now, I'll order it, get to the place before the food is ready. Then as soon as it's ready, since I'm already standing there, they give it to me, and then I get it to the house. That's the fastest way that I can get the food to know that it's 100% fresh. But if I gotta wait for the delivery driver, they might be delivering like 5 different places before they get to mine. Or they might, nowadays, we know, they might drag their feet and take longer with my order just because I gave the smallest tip. Which, again, they're doing this now, and they feel justified in doing this because the drivers have, I guess they've colluded with each other and believe, hey, if they don't give a tip, then mess up the order, or drop the pizza on the ground a couple times, or knock on the door. I see bold delivery drivers doing this. Even the one who delivered to me was bold enough to call me and talk some shit because they didn't like the tip that I gave them. But again, they didn't know who I was. They knew who I was, they probably wouldn't have did that, but they didn't know. So I see delivery drivers delivering food to somebody's house. They'll knock on the door and basically give a piece of their mind to the customer because they don't like how much of a tip that the customer left. Or I saw someone else, they left a note like, hey, lucky for you, I didn't mess with your food, but next time, make sure you leave a better tip. I'm like, yo, are you out of your fucking mind? Like, people can get murdered doing shit like that. Like, you can get killed fucking with somebody's food, or even just getting smart with somebody who you don't know just because you don't like how they're doing things. It's a dangerous thing that has been set up. And I was looking online, and I was trying to find out, why do companies, because I figured this could easily be fixed if the companies just didn't tell you what the tip was until after the delivery had been done. Why don't they just do that? Like, you won't know what the tip was till after you have processed the delivery and the customer has accepted the delivery. Now it won't be this issue of, hey, you didn't give me a tip, so I'm mad at you, or cussing you out, or arguing with a customer, because again, that is putting everybody's life in danger. Especially you come to somebody's house with their food and you fuck with the food, or you just say the wrong thing to a person who you don't know. You'll be setting yourself up to get in a real serious issue. But anyway, the answer was, as I looked this up online, they say that companies like to actually tell the drivers what the tip is, because that allows the drivers to prioritize which deliveries they're going to deliver and in what order, and it also motivates them to deliver the orders faster. I think, my opinion, that's bullshit. In my opinion, that's bullshit. What it is, what I think is actually doing that is not said, is that the companies, whoever is making the food that's been bought, is they're passing off the responsibility onto the customer instead of them keeping the responsibility themselves, because you're dealing with independent contractors and you can't really tell them what to do because they're not your employees. But they also are independent contractors who, in some way, shape, or form, need the money. I don't think anybody delivers DoorDash or Uber Eats for fun. They do it because they need the money. And if they don't want to do the deliveries, or they're messing up on the deliveries, then you can stop letting them drive. You can mark them as negative, because I have a friend who owns a food service business. So he has people place orders with him, and then the drivers go deliver it. And if the drivers are, messing up and not doing their thing, he can give the drivers a negative rating and hurt the chances of the drivers being given other jobs or other opportunities to make deliveries, which means they don't get more chances to make money. But I generally do not like the way it's all set up right now is not good for, well, maybe it's good for the drivers, I don't know, because if they see one tip was $10, another tip is $1, then it's going to take long with the $1 order. The problem is the customers end up coming back and complaining to the company that they placed the order with. See, I didn't place the order with the driver. I placed the order with the company. So what I did that day, when this GoPuff driver got mad at me, I got in touch with GoPuff and complained to them, and they ended up giving me gift certificates and money off. And the whole point being that, they gave me money off. The point is they lost money because they gave me money to appease me because I had a complaint, a logical complaint. The problem is the complaint wasn't because of anything GoPuff did. They didn't do anything wrong, but they ended up giving money back on an order that they shouldn't have been giving money back on just because the driver was out of line. You see what I mean? So if I'm GoPuff and I own a business and I got to give money back because the driver's out of line, then I'm like, shit, why am I dealing with this driver? Either that means I got to start firing drivers, or stop letting drivers deliver for me, or we got to come up with a new system, because any driver can do this, so they don't want to have to keep doing that. I think what they're betting on is that customers, people like me or people like you, are not going to reach out to the company and push and press about the situation. They'll just let it go. I think that's what they're betting on. I'm not the type of person who's going to let shit go. I'm the type of person who's going to pursue it and get my fucking restitution for whatever the situation happens to be. Most customers won't do that, but this is the problem. Now you're creating this antagonistic relationship with your customers rather than the actual problem, which is the driver, because a customer does not owe a tip to a driver. Anybody who drives DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, any of that stuff, customer does not owe you a tip. If they want to give you a tip, they can give it to you, but they don't owe you. A tip is extra. Gratuity is gratuity. Gratuitous means extra. Gratuity is not owed to you. There is no ethical responsibility for a customer to give a tip to a delivery person or to any person, as a matter of fact, if they don't want to. And if your job, whatever your job is not paying you enough money that you feel like the tips are absolutely needed, then get a better job. Or go to your boss and say, hey, I need to be making more money. Or get a job in a place where the tips, and I'm not saying that people should just not give tips at all. I do give tips. But don't be looking at me as the reason that you ain't got the money that you need. Maybe you didn't give enough service, or you're working in a job where you can't differentiate yourself with service. Your job at Uber Eats is no way to differentiate yourself from the next person who drives Uber Eats. You just put yourself in a bad situation. You set yourself up to fail. I would suggest any of you who wants to work off tips and you want to make a lot of money from it, go work in a high-end place. Why? Because in high-end places, you have high-end people who spend high-end money, which means naturally they're going to get bigger tips than if you're delivering fucking hot dogs and french fries on Uber Eats in the hood. All right, you ain't gonna make no money doing that. Instead, you need to go become a waiter or a waitress at a high-end restaurant where people spend more money, the bills are bigger, and they will tip more naturally, because in America, people do tip. You can get bigger tips if you work in a place where the money is being spent. You're working in a place where no money's being spent, you ain't gonna make any money. It just doesn't make any sense. So you gotta decide what struggle do you want. There are restaurants in America where if you don't earn at least $100,000 a year in tips, they fire you because obviously you're not good enough. That's a real thing. A lot of people don't know that. There are restaurants in America, high-end restaurants, where you are expected as a waiter or waitress to earn at least $100K a year in tips, and if you're not doing it, you get fired from the job. They don't wait for you to quit. They fire you because obviously you're not good enough, because you should be making at least $10K a month in tips. And $10K a month is actually more than $100K, but you get my point. So any of you who works in a place where you want to make money off tips, go to where the money's at. All right, the money ain't on Uber Eats. All right, that's the problem. That's the problem that many of you got. Uber Eats is such an easy job to get. I could probably be driving Uber Eats by the end of the day if I wanted to. I don't know what the situation is. But the reason that there's no money there is because it's so easy to get the job. You need to go to a job that's hard to get, a high-end place, like a high-end valet at like the Ritz, work the valet at the Ritz-Carlton. You'll make money off tips. Be a concierge at a high-end hotel, like in Beverly Hills or something like that. You will make money. Be like a high hairdresser for high-end people. You will make money. You got to go to where the money's at, folks. You can't go to where there's no money and then complain that you ain't making any money from the people who are not giving tips. Well, of course you ain't. You at a bargain basement type of job. You in a level 1 opportunity, you're going to get level 1 money. You go to a level 10 opportunity, you make level 10 money. That's the way that it works. But I want to know what you all think of this. I told you what I think. I do not like this whole tipping thing in America. Is starting to get out of control in the ways that I just explained. But maybe somebody has a different perspective that might change my mind or change at least my way of looking at it. You let me know. Oh yeah, workonyourgameuniversity.com. You want to get into a place where you are a high-end individual, where the high-end money is finding you, and you don't have to go chasing after low-end money or trying to get high-end money out of low-end people, which ain't going to happen. Bad formula. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.